Welcome to Between the Poles, the podcast where we dive deep into the heart of the pole community. I'm your host, Caroline. Here, it's not just about the tricks and the spins. It's about the stories, the people, and the connections that make this community so special. Every episode, we sit down with pole artists, studio owners, and inspiring voices to explore their journeys, challenges, and passions. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's get real. This is Between the Poles. If you enjoy this podcast episode, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and YouTube, where we share behind-the-scene contents, bonus clips, and more from each episode. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Between the Poles podcast. I'm excited for all of you guys to meet our guest today. Today, we are sitting down with Damian Kutryb. Hi, Damian. How are you doing?
Hello, good evening. Hello, everyone. I'm very good. Thank you so much. How are you doing? Are you okay?
Good. Thank you. I also am trying to be a better host this season, and I'm trying to introduce our guests a little bit because I know the guests, so I know what you've been up to, but maybe some of my viewers or listeners don't. You are up to a lot, Damian. You are a studio owner, a pro pole dancer. You also are an entrepreneur. You won an award in the UK for top influencer. And I love your social media page. Your
Thank you.
Instagram is amazing. At the time of recording this episode, you have over 100,000 followers on there. And we're going to kind of try to touch up on everything, but you do a lot. And I start this podcast off the same way for everybody. Can you tell us a little bit? How did you even find pole? How many years ago did you start? And can you tell us just a little bit about that?
Yes, definitely. So thanks for the amazing introduction. I know I do a lot, but I don't know that much. So as you said, I'm a pole dancer. I'm originally from Poland, and I've been living in Manchester, UK for over 15 years. I run my own dance studio, which is called GFF Damian Dance Studio, and 12 years ago, a friend from work asked me if I would like to attend pole dancing class. I always wanted to try. As a child in Poland, first it was impossible, for kids to do pole that time. Second, I was male, so that was completely no, no, no. And I just forgot about this idea. I seen like a circus act. I think so. I was like 10 years old. I seen like a circus act, and I loved it. Like, the circus guys jumping from one pole to other pole. It was like a Chinese pole act. Now I know, but obviously that time I didn't. And it was my dream to try, but in Poland it wasn't possible that times. And I just forgot about carry on. And I came from veterinary background from Poland, right? I know it's wild. And I moved to UK. I started working in the factories, like, with around Polish people, trying to learn English. And 2 years later, friend from work asked me if I would like to join her for pole dancing class. And I was like, oh my God, I always wanted to try. And we went for a class. I grabbed the pole. I immediately fall in love. It was just like a chemistry, seriously. I started training like crazy, 4 or 5 hours a day. Like, I put two poles in my house. I was traveling to the studio 1 hour. I've been working night shifts. I remember I was finishing work like 7 a.m., going sleep for a few hours, then going studio till like 7, 9 p.m., and then going back home, shower, go work at 11 p.m. It was crazy. Seriously, I addicted to the pole so quick. And I also become like quite good really fast as well. As I said, I've been training like, quite many hours a day. So I think after like 8 months, the owner of the studio where I used to go, she asked me if I would like to become a teacher. And so after 8 months, I went for an instructor training, and I become an instructor after like 9 months. It was like another, chapter in my pole dancing career, pole dancing hobby, because obviously I started as a hobby. And then after 9 months, it started to be my career. And there was always something like I didn't feel in the space where I used to be. I didn't feel kind of like always included as being a male in the class. I remember I was the only one guy at the whole studio that time, and sometimes I had, the girls, the people at the studio, they gave me that feeling that, oh, you shouldn't do this. This is only for a female, and blah blah blah. And I was like, no, you're wrong. Like, I will show you what I can do, and then where this your hate will get me. And then that was the idea, to open my own studio, to create a safe space for people like me. So no matter where you're from, what your gender is, who you love, or what your skin color, I wanted to create a space where everyone can just come and then be truly 100% themselves. And then that's the idea of creating GFF Studio came. GFF stands for Gay Friendly Fitness.
Oh.
So me being obviously big part of LGBTQ plus community, being an advocate of marginalized communities and obviously rainbow folks, I thought this is the perfect, home. This will be the perfect place for everyone, for people to come and then do and feel, amazing, and then feel, 100% themselves.
That is an amazing story. I love that you gave us the background on your studio because I was going to ask you about the name, and I love you're like, no, no, I thought about this.
Thank you.
Okay, I have like 101 questions for you, and I always like
Absolutely.
love going into details because as somebody like I'm not an amazing polar. I do it as a hobby, and I love that I get to ask people that train at such a high level, how do you get there? So you said you pulled a lot. I follow you on your Instagram. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you do really well with flexibility move. Your splits are gorgeous. Did you naturally do well with flexibility move, or how long have you been training your flexibility? Did you do any
Mm.
other sports before pole that helped you?
So when I started pole, I didn't have any like background of dancing, gymnastics, nothing. Even like last, I think 4 years in my college, I had like a fit note that I was exempt from, the physical sports classes. I hate
Why?
it so much because it was only football, they only played football. And then I was like, no, I want to do something more interesting. And obviously, but that wasn't possible. So I was like, okay, let's have a, sick note. And I'm not able, like, I'm not fit to train. So, like, I seriously, last 4 years, I didn't train. And I remember I went to like a school meeting a few years ago. And then my teacher, like, obviously, like, the head teacher from my college, he was like, oh my God, I fucking can't believe what you're doing now. The biggest lesser, the bigger person who like, always skip the, physical sport classes now is doing like, wow, and then things with their body. So yeah, it was really hard and a challenging way. But as I mentioned, I wanted to, I don't know, prove them, or also obviously I really got addicted into it. So obviously it was like big passion, but also I had on the back of my head, all the comments. I remember when I posted first pictures from power classes, few obviously people were like, "Oh my God, what the fuck, you're camp," and like stupid comments. This is for girl. Seriously, like I remember, like I had to like delete a lot of people that time. And I think so this kind of like helped me to become where I am today. So all the haters I had on the beginning, they actually helped me to be successful, to be, and standing like proud gay studio owner. So thank you them. But obviously that time, 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't that easy. First, obviously I was super young as well. I moved to different country. I had to learn everything, from scratch. I had to adapt to new language, new like people, new system, everything like new. And as I mentioned on the beginning, my English wasn't really good that time as well. So I worked in the factories, 12, 14 hours a day. Then I moved to night shifts, and, it was constantly like working, working, working. But I always had the idea on the back of my head. Then I discovered the pole, and I always wanted to push myself. And I'm very ambitious, I would say. And there's never enough for me. I really want to do constantly something. I need projects. I have a ADHD. So you can imagine, like, I have 1,000 ideas per minute. My brain is constantly working. I don't rest. Obviously, my partner is constantly like moaning, and like all friends as well said, "You need to rest. You need to rest," but I can't. I don't know how. So I love work, I love working. I love what I do. I do this with passion, with like, everything what I have inside me. And yeah, I think so. Why is this? Because yeah, I'm real. I am myself, and I think so. That's why, it helped me where I am
I
today
want to
as
ask
well.
you a question as a gay man, because pole is woman led. It's not woman exclusive, but most of the people that pull, I would say, are women, right? Or at least identify as women. And there is more and more now different people that pull. And because you started so long ago, I've only been pulling for 4 years. So I've really kind of known this community as what it is today. But I feel like a lot of guests that started back then say that it was really different. Do you feel like nowadays in the pole community, there is a little more inclusivity and there's more male pole dancer? I feel maybe we're kind of getting used to it because you tell me like, oh, I got a lot of hate at the beginning and stuff, and it was more like woman exclusive maybe back then. Do you feel now that there is more pro male artists out there that and there's more like representation? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, so definitely, there's a more male pole dancers or guys who identify as a male and then doing pole. And back date, I remember obviously there was not a lot. I remember there was like Dan Rosen, there was me, Sam King. There was only like 3 or 4 of us in the UK that time, and it was challenge. It was like challenging, but also now I see how the community evolved, how the community is changing, how the community trying to be inclusive, and obviously not everyone is doing this. And even they say, yeah, we are all inclusive, we are inclusive. There's a lot of work to do for everyone. Even for us, we still, in the learning path. There's a lot of things, the community should look as regarding the inclusivity, regarding the sex workers, what's happening now on social medias, the shadow bans, the deleting accounts. So, this is really important and I see, I remember also like, the years ago, a lot of people were kind of like shaming sex workers and kind of trying to disconnect from these roots. And I remember a lot of people that time were saying, oh no, I'm doing pole fitness. I'm only pole fitness. This is nothing with stripping, nothing. And this was also the path and then also the time when we had to kind of educate people to get, time as well, like for people to learn where this is actually from, because without sex workers we wouldn't have the pole classes, we wouldn't have the spaces we have today. So we can't forget about this.
Okay.
And as I said, pole is amazing because everyone can have different style. You can be pole fitness, you can be pole dancing, you can be more stripper style, you can be more contemporary dancer, so everyone can have their own style. As I said, we need to remember where the roots are from, where the pole started, who started, this, and why we should thank them. However, you allowed to have your own style in pole. You're allowed to say, yes, I'm doing like pole fitness. This is my style. I'm like a tricks person, tricks focused person, or I'm more choreography, I'm heels based, so this is amazing now. The back days, I remember there was only like pole fitness or pole dancing was kind of like starting, but as I said, everyone was like, oh, we are pole fitness, we are pole fitness, so it's definitely changed, it's definitely improved, but there is still a lot of work to do for everybody. And I hope one day, the sex workers, the people from on social media, they will not have to fight for their rights. They will not have to fight to, to keep their work safe and to be who they are. Because, why we have to change or like kind of adapt to stupid laws or something, and, just let people be themselves and world would be nicer, no?
Love that. And I hope people listen to this segment and like it resonates with them. Because I do agree with you. I'm sure the community from where it went to where we're now, I'm sure it's more inclusive. I still saw the other day on social media hashtag I'm not a stripper. And I was like, oh, that made me angry. And I'm like, I can't. Oh, anyways, I'm not gonna go negative on this FSL, but yeah, I think there's still room for improvement in the community.
Definitely.
I kind of wanted to ask you more like personally yourself, because you are very active on social media. Have you ever been shadow banned? And how do you feel about shadow banning right now? Because, like I said at the beginning of the episode, right now you're sitting with over 100,000 followers. So you're doing something right on social media, clearly. Can you tell us a little bit, how did you start your social media? Have you been struggling with shadow ban or not really? Because now that you've been doing it for a while, you kind of know what you're allowed to post and what will get you shadow banned?
So regarding my private account, I never been shadow bound. So let's lock the microphone. Because I think I don't post kind of like content it could flag as, breaking the rules, terms and conditions, or whatever. However, we been shadow banned and then flagged, the red marks on Instagram on our studio page, because obviously it's more relating, like, pole classes that we've been posting a lot of like videos of people dancing, half naked as well, how pole dancers are.
Mhm.
So it was, yeah. And then I remember that times I went for like a seminar about social medias, and then someone said, "Oh, you need to like constantly shake the phone, report, to Instagram that this is your job, this is your like work. You're taking everything. Stop shadow banning like pole artists, blah blah blah." And I've been doing this like hours a day,
Wow.
and I think so after like 1 week, all these 4 points where it become green, 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 and I was like, wow. Wow, so I don't know if this worked, that constant shaking and reporting the error. I was like constantly reporting, this is a bug, this is error. Stop like, discriminating us, stop discriminating male pole dancers, stop discriminating artists, like, and things like this. I was constantly like, this is people's job. You're taking our food away from us, and like constantly I was like reporting and sending these messages, and I think that this worked. And since then, uh, I can't lie, we're very careful as well what we post. The studio Instagram is not just for one instructor or for me, it's for everyone. So if obviously whole Instagram page gonna be shadow banned, it will affect a lot of people, a lot of instructors. A lot of them is only day living, they don't have any other jobs. So I don't lie, we try to be careful what and how we post. We're still trying to show like, the reality, what the classes is, what the studio is about and things. But yeah, we're trying to like, the pictures or videos are like not very close up, and like with nice lightings, and kind of like to make the video a bit yeah, there was like other techniques as well to speed up a little bit, or like to add extra music or something. There's like a lots of different techniques like we've been trying, and it's working. And coming back to my private account, I started with Paul. So that was my Paul account on the beginning. I remember the first, I think, 4 or 5 years me doing poll. I built it like 10 or 12,000 followers in that
Oh,
5 years time, just on the poll. And then I went on a TV show. My sister was on like a reality show, and then I went on like a few episodes with her. Then I did like a couple of documentary films for like Canal Plus, Warner Bros. And then just the followers jumped up to like over 100,000. So I would say like, it's 30% pole now at the moment. Now is 30% like pole dancers on it, and then 70 will be like, people random who've been like watching me on the TV or like love my lifestyle. Because from I kind of like redeveloped and like rechanged my Instagram from being pole only into like a lifestyle, because people wanted to see like what I'm up to, what I'm wearing today. Like, I love fashion. I love like, uh, impressive like looks like entering like red carpets and things, so I wanted to kind of like show on the Instagram everything what I do basically, so it's not typically because people are saying like, oh my god, you don't have any like pole on your account. That's like, yeah, if you slide down you will see, but it's also this because those days I train less pole but coach more. I had 4 surgeries these last 4 years,
Wow.
and it's been quite hard, to coming back to pole. It was quite hard to not just physically but also mentally, like 4 surgeries in 4 years time, and then last year I had another one, so that was five surgeries in 4 years. Obviously, four was related same thing, one was related something else. But yeah, I had an accident teaching workshops abroad. The pole detached of the ceiling. Obviously, I fall. I broke
Oh,
everything. I ripped all ligaments, and yeah, I
oh.
had I had 3 surgeries on my knee.
Okay, hold on.
Uh,
Hold on. This tea is hot and I want to talk about it. So you're teaching and the pole, so
just came
like
off. I
pole
checked
comes
the
off
poles
it?
before
Like
the
goes from
class.
the top? Like what
Yeah,
happened? What
because
were you doing?
so it was by end of the class. I always check the polls when I before teaching. Obviously, it wasn't my studio. It was like I was invited to teach, and I checked the polls. Everything was fine. So whole class was everything perfect. And then the last moves, I was kind of like demonstrating on the top of the pole. It was like a swing and then big change into the Superman. And then as soon as I like swing, I'm quite heavy. I'm quite long as well. So as soon as I swing and then turn, I obviously, I catch the pole with my legs, and then the pole just came off the ceiling. I don't know why. Obviously, like whole class was everything perfect, and I was quite high. I would say like 3.5 meters high, and I seen like me falling, and I seen the girl in the corner. If obviously I was holding the pole, so I didn't let the pole go because I was in the Superman position. So I was kind of like pull the pole with me. If I will let the pole go, the girl, the student, would be hit by the pole with like a massive fast impact. It would be, I wouldn't say probably dead. So obviously, like I try to protect her as well. So that's why I grabbed the pole with me. Obviously, pole was quite heavy, so I fall, pole fall after me. I had this video somewhere, like because obviously people were recording my demonstration, and yeah, I never kind of like posted this online. You can see like my knee is kind of like jumping to the side, and yeah, crazy. So
Did
yeah, I
you
had
broke?
surgeries.
Did you break anything or did it kind of pop out of
Yeah,
the
no, no, no. Yeah, so all ligaments, everything was like a ripped off. I had to have a full reconstruction of my knee. There was a damage on the meniscus. I'm luckily didn't broke any bones, but as I said, the ligament was completely ripped, cruciate ligaments on
and
the
like
sides, the
you
front as
say
well.
lucky, but at the same time, like bones like heal like 6 to 8 weeks. Usually
Oh,
ligament
yeah.
takes so long and like everything's so tight after that the recovery is just so long.
And then obviously, like now, I had my flexibility and everything, so I had to back again for after the flexibility. So they did the surgery. I come back to training. I start training again, probably a little bit too early, and it snapped again. So I had to have like another surgery on that knee. So that was like a second surgery, and it was fine. And then after like few months, when I come back to train again, the screw on the side started like popping out. When I was like doing squats or bending my knees, you could see the screw coming out. And obviously this was still worrying. Obviously I had to go to doctors again and scans and check what's happened, why this, and then okay, another surgery. We have to like clean this. They have to put this because the new graft it disconnected from the screw. That's why the screw just like start pushing through like crazy things. So I needed like a third surgery to fix this. And yeah, so that was like, another like crazy. And then I did something to my hamstrings. Obviously, they had to like repair this as well. And then with the meniscus, so they couldn't do same surgery. They had to do like separate surgery for meniscus. So yeah, so I ended with 4 surgeries on my knee. And obviously, every time I was like going on and off, going back to Paul, I managed to get my splits back. And then again, something happened. I had to come back to the table, open my knee again. So to be honest, for the last 3, 4 years, I not lost the passion. I lost kind of like that happiness, that I have constantly on the back of my head that I need to be very careful. I can't do all the things anymore. I need to like, watch what I'm doing. I still can't hook my left knee properly on the pole. Like, I don't trust it like fully. So it's still a lot of work for me to do mentally as well. Like physically, yeah, I'm still like running, as I said, I've got HGAG, I can't sit home. So I was like a day after surgery, I was already like, answering, doing things, working, and like people said, you need to rest. Come on, stop it. But I wanted to like focus on work, on things to not depress me of like staying home. They told me like, oh, you're not allowed to train. Your recovery will be 18 months. So, and I was like, you just see like black, nothing on the front of your eyes, and you're just thinking like, what I will do, like this is only my living, like 18 months, and you still like you need to like pay everything, bills. Yeah, I have like a nice studio, we have an amazing team, so the studio is like obviously still operating even if I'm not there, but that's my place. I want to be there. Like I want to teach. I want to like go to work. I'm not the person who just like wants to stay off work. And so yeah, that was like one of the hardest parts, because the pain, the physical pain, is manageable. You can take painkillers, like and then kind of like I was like managing with these, but the mental pain was like really difficult, and it's still like I'm still suffer with. I'm still having like therapy. I'm still having consultations. It's been hard, and but yeah, I'm staying positive. I still want to be an example for people to show that no matter what happened to you, what happened in your life, you can still move forward. You can still do amazing things. Even like I don't do crazy pole anymore like I used to do, like crazy flips, jumps, drops, and things like this. But I can coach, I'm super happy like teaching kids, children at the moment, because all my ambitions kind of like I put on them. And then like, I'm super happy to see their progress. I'm super happy to see them on the stage. And I'm like watching them. I'm like, oh my God, that's little Damian in them.
Yeah, I love
Uh,
that.
so so yeah, so I definitely love that, and I wouldn't change anything. It was definitely the lessons. It kind of showed me that situation as well. I need to slow down. I need to delegate the work as well, because obviously the first like years in the business, I was everything: teacher, manager, cleaner, receptionist, like everything, and. Yeah, people were saying like you need to like give me something, like I finally had a manager, but I was still doing things like I was like she's supposed to work like 9 till 5, and then I'm sat home like answering emails as well, and I got a text message from her, get out of the inbox.
Oh my God, I also have a manager, and then she texts me that to stop answering our app. I'm like,
So yeah, so
okay.
and then it took me some time to kind of like, be able to give. I was always thinking like I'm the best. No one can replace me. No one can do the job same as I can do. And like, it was stupid. Obviously, I was constantly putting myself in like, stress, constant work, and constantly doing things like even like partner was like, you don't have a time for me. You constantly like just business, business, business. But it was never like kind of like good anything like motivated me to stop this, or any reason. Like I didn't have any good reasons to like stop this. And obviously that accident, then I realized, I was like, I can't work, I can't go to the studio. I need to delegate the work now, because if I don't do it, the studio will be shut. Where all this like 200-300 people will go? Like I have people who is like working there, who is like, having living there, and I can't just like close the studio and be sorry, I'm ill, you know. So yeah, we had to like adapt. We had to like find the covers. We had to kind of like get the studio working without me, or working me only online, because the first 3 weeks I couldn't get out of bed. I was just on crutches, toilet back, going hospital rehabilitations, and that's it. So I think so the first time I went to the studio after the surgery was like 2 3 months. So yeah, it was painful,
And I
but
want to say this too, right? Because I'm so sorry that that happened to you. I
oh,
cannot even imagine how traumatizing that must have been for you and for people that were there that day and saw that happen. Like, I'm sure it was very hard on everybody. I can't even imagine the pain and the terror of trying to get back to pole after that. I would be traumatized. But great for you for being able to pivot. Because I feel like something I've been discussing on this podcast with a lot of guests is, as a athlete, this is how you make your income, right? You put your body through the ringer, you're teaching workshop, some guests own studios or they tour. And I can't even imagine for you being like, okay, this has to stop for now. Like, I can't do this. How can I make the rest of my career happen? And I love that you're like, you know what, even nowadays you prefer coaching and stuff. I think we're going to see more and more of that in the pole community.
definitely.
Pull is so hard on the body. There's only so many years you can do it. But owning a studio, being able to coach, offering an online service, like I think we're going to see more and more of that happening. I think COVID also really showed us that there's a way to
Mhm.
monetize online. I think you're probably in a good, because I own a studio, so I always think a little bit of the business side of things. I really like, or what I imagine you do. I really like that you're an influencer and you have a platform and you're able to take decisions with that. And then you also own a business, like a physical business as well. So you kind of get a little bit of the pros of both of those. And it kind of brings me to a topic that I want to discuss with you. You are launching a new brand and I want
Yes.
to ask you about it. Can you tell us a little bit about it? How did you come up with the idea? How is it called? Where can we find it, support it, all that good stuff?
Perfect. So, the idea came on a time when I were on sick, when I was like on the recovery time, sitting home. And as I said, I can't just be, lazy, not doing anything. So obviously, whole through the years, I've been like testing different things. Being an influencer, companies send you like loads of free stuff, loads of products to test, like, a lot of things they have like sugar and these and these. I'm a gluten intolerant. I'm a vegetarian. So there was like a lot of products like I couldn't have it, or like it didn't kind of like fit my mindset as well. When I remember I went to like shops, the vitamin and supplement shops, or like any like fitness shops, it's kind of like push this for masculinity, and then kind of like it's only look like the all these powders is for like a big masculine guys, and like if you will take them they will like work like steroids, and then you will just get big and big. And then obviously like talking to people, traveling around the world, seeing what people drinking in the classes, what pole dancers like suffer with like injuries, like how my own body were like reacting like after classes. When you go twice a week for the class, yeah, this is hobby, is healthy. But if you like working and training like 4 or 5 hours a day, this is not healthy anymore. This is like exhausting your body, and then putting your body to the limits. So I was also like injured all the time, like we all are. And I was constantly thinking like, what could I do to help myself, like to help my joints, like to help my knee, to help my injuries I had. And yeah, when I was like obviously recovering and doing like a different exercises, looking for inspiration, looking for people like, with disabilities doing pole or doing different activities. Because obviously I had like loads of like crazy thoughts, that time, like, oh, will my knee will be fit again? Will I be able to walk properly? So then you just sat and like watching all this video, listen like people's stories, listen the podcasts, and learning about the situation you are currently. And yeah, the idea just came like someone messaged me that time and then said, "Oh, we love your Instagram, we love your following. Would you be interested to put your own clothing brand?" And I was like, "Clothing brand? Nah, this is not my thing." And I don't know, like 2 days after, the idea just popped to my head, and I was like, I need to design, like develop the product for us, for me first, to help myself and then to help others, and then all my students, all friends who've been like needed this. I just found it the gap and then found it something where we actually need this. So I developed my own supplements, typically designed for pole dancers, aerialist dancers, and then people who put the body to the limits. Fitness lovers, like everyone who wants to feel like amazing, not just physically but also mentally. This is the clean formulation, my own formulation. I sat with two doctors, with diabetician, scientists, and obviously me. We sat all together for 18 months. It took us to develop the product. On my interviews, like on our meetings, I remember I was like constantly telling them, I said, I don't want to spend money on marketing. I don't want to spend money on this. I want to spend all this money on ingredients. I want to make sure the product will work. We sat and I said, like, right, my training look like this. We do this. We put like in not natural positions. We do a lot of micro damages to our muscles. Our joints are put like a lot of twist and then kind of like gravitation and then heavy positioning, which is not healthy for them. So kind of all these aspects I wanted to get something. I hate taking lots of different things, lots of like tablets or and I was like, I should do something what will be in one, and then you can just drink it. You don't have to like think about it. Won't taste like super sweet. It will be no like half kilo of sugar inside. And yeah, I developed my new brand, my new own supplement is called Kutryb X by Damian Kutryb. So I use my surname. As I said, people know me already. If you type my name in the Google, it's popping internet personality. So kind of like I had to use my, surname to also show people that who I am, what I've been doing for the last decade, and then where the idea came from. Because it's the Kutryb X, my product is not about selling, it's about to helping pole dancers, helping dancers and athletes, to feel great, to recover after the trainings we do, something what actually is doing. So there's an amazing formulation. What's inside is a 100% vegan product. It's all natural ingredients. There's no sugars, no sweeteners, no preservatives, no conservative, nothing inside. What would be extras like gums or aromats? Nothing. It's like a pure product. Is a formulation is a powder, is a protein-based powder with vitamin complex, and there's also mango extract, which is helping with inflammatory in our joints and a bruising as well. So I developed the product which typically is for us, for the muscles, for the job we do, and then for things we do. So it will, support your immune system. It will support your joints. It will support your recovery after the training. So you just add a scoop before training, drink it with the water. It's giving like an amazing blue color when you add water in it, because it have phycocyanin is a spirulina but from blue algae, and that's why it gives you like a natural blue color. So it's nice. It doesn't taste anything, the natural one. We also will have a flavor one which will be vanilla and coconut mixed. But it's only like kind of like you can smell it, but when you drink it, you will only feel tiny bit of coconut, but you won't feel anything. You know, we will have to add a lot of sugar, a lot of preservatives, and a lot of things, you know, to make this super like, you know, I remember when we were testing like different flavors and I was giving like you know, to students, to my friends to try it, and I had like Oreo one and they were like, I can smell Oreo like really strong, but when I drink I don't taste Oreo. And I was like, that's the point. Like, you know, you smell it, your brain think like, I mean, you know, you just get the information to your brain that that's Oreo flavor, and then, you know, you're just enjoying that nice natural taste without sweeteners being like, ooh, like, you know, shivers, and then also being healthy, you know, and I knew it what you want. I'm very fussy with food. I'm very fussy with drinks and everything. So there was a lot of things like, you know, I could feel the powder in my mouth or like very artificial. And I never liked all the products that people been sending to me. And then, yeah, that was the thing where I was like, okay, let's do something like, you know, what you will actually love it, what you will actually eat, drink like daily, because it's obviously daily food supplement. And, yeah, so that's how all this started, how all this idea came. We've been testing, as I said, this has been going for 18 months. So the brand born in Manchester. However, my roots are in Poland, so it's been produced in Poland with European standards. Unfortunately, the European food hygienic standards are higher than the UK, and even Poland have like one of the highest in the Europe like regulations regarding the food supplements. So it was quite challenging to, you know, develop something. We had to work with, you know, solicitors on both countries. They had to kind of like make sure all the ingredients are allowed in both countries, like all in Europe and obviously outside Europe in the UK. So there was like a lot of like, you know, tests, a lot of like papers, a lot of like you had to send like, you know, papers, tests. We had to do a test of microbiology, metals, that, you know, I have a certifications that all obviously the badges which been sent it now is free of metals, and then the microbacterial you know, certification is good, clear as well. So it's a premium product, it's a luxury wellness product. As I said, it's very clean, very very pure, and amazing thing what will, I'm sure, will help a lot of people. And it helped me already. I've been on it for like the last few weeks. I already see difference. I even went to like a what's it called, podologist, the one who's doing your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to her and then she was like, oh my God, I love your nails. What you've been put on them? And I was like, nothing. And she was like, oh my God, they're so shiny. And I think obviously the supplement works because there is a extracts and all this which are for hair and nails as well, which obviously I start seeing already kind of like improvement. Even after one take, you feel nice energy, steady energy booster, energy level. There's a vitamin B complex which give you like a natural nice energy for whole day. You have MSM, you have amino acids which help you with, you know, recovery after the trainings. I can't tell anymore yet. You know, next week we have official launch. All the products you know, will be available. As I said, it's not about selling the product, it's about to help the community, show them like how they can feel, how studio owners can support their students in like a pole careers. Obviously we have a lot of students been injured, they're not coming for the classes, you know, so this is something what will help them to recover good, you know, to stay in the class as well, to be less injured, and to feel great, to constantly like wanted them to back and, you know, have that energy for the day, for work, and then for power class after work.
I
So
want to
yes,
ask you a question, Damien, because
sorry, I'm just
people at
talking
this
and
point
talking.
know that it's pre-recorded, but for our viewers and our listeners that are tuning in this week and watching this when it comes out, this will be in season 3. Do you know the date that people can go online and purchase your product?
So it's gonna be from October. So
October. So
yes,
October
so the
2025.
first week of October is gonna be available online in Europe. However, in the UK, my plan currently, the first few months, or we see how this is go, is to launch the product just to studio owners to make the product more inclusive and more exclusive and then more luxury and kind of like I don't want to have this product in like a retail shops. I don't want to have, this is, as I said, this is like an amazing formulation. It has the maximum of percentage of the ingredients we could have it, between the countries. And so this is not something like, I thinking like, oh, I want to, make money or, no, I want to help people because as I said, I help myself. I've been going a lot of through, and so in the UK, I want to keep this more as a exclusive product, so just available at the studios. And then also this is the opportunity for studio owners to obviously get extra income for the studio. We can't lie, studios are our businesses. We still have to pay bills, we have to pay everything, we have to pay our wages. So little things like extras we can offer to students, to our clients. You sell pole grips in the studio, you sell knee pads, so why we can have something what will work inside the students. They will feel amazing, they will be still coming to the classes with less injuries. In the UK, I'm gonna be importing to the UK from Europe, and obviously just wholesale between the studio owners. Maybe in a few years we're gonna be able to have a warehouse in the UK, or maybe the Brexit law will change for shipping the things, because the costs are crazy for ship after the Brexit to UK. So that's why I think at the beginning in the UK is gonna be available only in studios. We will have obviously on the website list of the studios where you can purchase them. I also will be happy if some people can reach the studios to send them, obviously from myself. But yeah, in the Europe, everywhere in Europe, you will be able from 1st October, you will be able to order online and will be sent straight from lab to your home address anywhere you are in the Europe. As I said, I'm living in UK. The product is only produced in Poland, so I think it'd be hard for me to keep to market. So that's why Poland and Europe I do just online version, and then people can buy online straight from warehouse. Where in the UK it's gonna be more luxury and available at the studio, so people don't have to pay customs, people don't have to pay shipping costs like crazy. As I said, after Brexit it's really hard for small businesses to go
I
through
like
this.
that. And I hope my listeners and my viewer give Damian a follow on his personal account, but also on his business account, on the Kutryb account, so we can grow
Yes,
that and we can support people from our own community. At
thank
this
you.
point, Damian, I want to move us to the last piece of this podcast, which is a quick, easy questions. We call it the last grip. Are you ready, Damian, for the last?
Yes, let's do it.
This is where the questions really aren't stressful
I'm
at
not sure if you see, I have a fancy mic here.
all. Okay. And I just unplugged myself. Here we go. Coffee or tea? Favorite song to dance to right now?
This is so hard. I love a lot of songs, kind of without lyrics, where they're kind of bouncy and a nice beat, very energetic. Yes, I don't have any kind of very favorites. I just dance for everything was have a nice beat.
I like that. What is your most loved pull outfit or pull accessory?
Paul Grip.
Yes, that's everybody's best friend.
I mean, I can't live with this. I don't wear knee pads. I don't wear a lot of crazy stuff. Just shorts and t-shirts, or someone just the shorts. So I think so, Paul Grip, especially when I travel workshops to hot countries like Spain or Greece, and I have to swim in this. So I always take 2-3 bottles because it's crazy. If they don't have an aircon, I'm done. I'm fucked.
I don't think I can pull if they don't have AC. I need the AC and I
Believe
need
me,
the
it's very
perfect
hard.
temperature.
It's not a lot of studios have like in Spain have aircon, which is crazy. Like I was like really swimming on the pole, seriously.
Listen, I live in Canada. It's cold. And then the AC in my studio is just like blasting.
Oh,
We're
really?
good. We're good. You don't need like, yeah. We still need grip because it's really, really dry where I live. So
Okay.
I went to Hawaii and that was perfect because they had AC, but not too much. And it was super humid. I've never been that grippy in my whole life. Oh, heels or barefoot?
Barefoot.
One word to describe your relationship with pole.
Freedom?
Wow.
Yeah, the
Nothing
pole gave
more.
me like freedom, gave me like everything to be myself and then to be like, the person I am today. It wasn't just about fitness class that time. It was about the community, the empowerment, and being just truly yourself.
I absolutely love that. Spin
Thank
or
you.
static?
Static.
Morning practice or evening practice?
Morning practice.
You are answering these like no other guest has ever answered this. Everybody's like coffee in evening, and you're like tea in morning, please. Love
Never.
or hate of conditioning?
Love conditioning. I even like ran conditioning classes. I used to have like just quick like a story. I used to run like on the timetable conditioning class, but I only had one, two people. So then I just like got rid of that class. And then I was like, what can I do, to make them do conditioning? So now those days, what I do once in the month in all classes I teach, I throw 1 hour conditioning class unexpectedly. So they don't know when is it, when it will happen. I just come to the class and I'm like, you're gonna die today. And then whole hour I'm doing conditioning class. Funny way, we do like, crazy like wheelbarrows, we carry each other on the backs, climbing, like, we're standing on each other's shoulder doing squats, sit-ups on the pole and things like this, using bands, like crazy workout for whole 1 hour. Obviously using the pole like for inverts, climbs with no hands, and doing a lot of things with the pole. But yeah, and then people hate it. They always like, oh my God, it's end of the week, end of the month, he's not done conditioning. He will throw the conditioning this week. So yeah, so some people trying to avoid this. But yeah, I love conditioning.
I absolutely love that because as a pole teacher, me too, right? Everybody, no one ever wants to condition. Everybody's just like,
But
no.
they all want to be strong and doing flags, doing
Yes.
different like crazy things, having stamina with, I always laughing, like even with flexibility, like I teach stretch classes and people like, oh, like crying. And I was like, I know it would be so easy to go to Tesco and like, can I buy some flexibility? You need to work, bitch, I'm afraid.
I love this segment. This segment has to make it to the trailer for season 3. It's the best thing ever. All right. Can you tell us your nemesis move or nemesis family of move that you just hate?
So I hate everything what is foot related. So if I have to grip on my feet, oh my God, I remember when I started doing pole and then we had to climb. I couldn't climb for 3 months. My feet were constantly bleeding. I was in constant pain. I hated so much. And I remember my teacher, she was like, you need to go up. I was like, no, I'm not climbing anymore. And then one day she brought me like the protector socks for pole. And then that's how I started like using them and climbing and learning kind of like condition that part of my skin of my foot. Those days I don't have a problem with like climbing or anything, but I hate like Dangerous Brian or anything which is like flex foot hook. Oh my God, this is my nemesis moves.
Yeah, I
And
don't.
I don't do them. I teach, but I don't demonstrate them. I don't show them anymore. It's just like I don't know one. I think so. The Dangerous Brian, I only did like once or twice in my life, and then never again. But yeah, so anything foot related family is my nemesis.
I have a teacher and she loves Dangerous Brian. And every time I go to her class, she's like, Cal, do you want a Dangerous Brian today? And I'm like, no, I really don't. I also hate foot grip things. I'm like, I don't
I
want to
love
do it.
elbows. Like people hate elbows, and I love elbows. I love spin on elbows. I love like drops, bumps. I love elbow grip, where obviously it's very painful as well as it's thin skin,
Yeah.
so people don't like grips. And I remember once I did like a workshop, whole 90 minutes on the elbows, people were like, purple, purple, because obviously, like, and they were like, why are you teaching this? And I was like, because no one else is teaching this.
All right, Damian, I'm going to ask you an extra question. There's two more questions, but I'm going to ask you one. Do you feel, because I answer yes to this question, do you feel as a pole teacher, I take a little bit of pleasure the more my students complain, the more happy I get.
I
I'm like,
love it. Like,
me too.
I even kind of like, obviously, they call me Tyron. They call me like a military. And obviously, like, they said, like, you love it. And then they consider whatever. I have a, for example, game. It's called Chicken Walk. They have to like walk around the room. I have a 77 square meters, like a pole room. So they have to go around 10 poles, 2 circles on the knees, like, like a squat walk. And they're not allowed to stand up. If they want break, they need to step to the side so the other chickens can pass. And then I'm shouting to them. I said, I love my job. I love, what's the best? You pay me for this. Like, and then I love it. So you see, like, and I think so this is the kind of like my image as well. Like people know me in the UK or in Poland, that kind of like, I'm the person who kind of like finding and doing stupid games to torture people. But obviously we torture this because we want to get best of them. I don't want to go to the class and, okay, guys, let's do 50 press-ups. Let's do, it's boring. Let's do some fun. Obviously, it's give me a lot of pressure because they struggle. So I'm like little devil, I'm not called Damian by accident, right? 666.
I love it, but I also tell student, like, if I just make you do what you already want to do and practice by yourself, why even come to class? No, I'm here to make you do hard things, make you do things you don't want to do. I'll give you a spot. I'll
You
like
pay
help
me
you
for
out.
this,
Yes,
babe.
do it. And then I usually also tell like more like beginner students, I'm like, listen, the higher level you get, the more torture, because you get to know your student. Like people in advance, I've been teaching them for a while. I know them. So then the harder I get on them, they
Yeah.
come back. So they have to love it at some point.
Same. I know how you feel, girl.
All right. Last question for today. Can you tell us what is your favorite move or your favorite family of move?
If currently, I used to be all the backbends, so all the cocoons, rainbows, and all these. However, recently is all the splitty moves. I don't know why my back is not bending anymore. How it bended like 8 years ago, but I think so. Maybe I don't train again as much as I used to train my back. But I train a lot of legs. Like I do a lot of splits. I'm going out, and the first thing is like watching around where I can do splits on or where I can hang off. So kind of like I keep my leg flexibility active all the time. I stretch my legs a lot. So I would say all the splitty moves are my favorite currently.
I absolutely love it. And then this concludes our episode for today. So thank you so much for being on. Thank you also to our listeners and our viewer. I will put Damian's info in the caption so you guys can find him super easily. And I'll see everybody in next episode next week. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
so much for having me. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for all the support. And I hope we will meet somewhere. So, if you are in Manchester or you're somewhere around, everyone who is listening this, just make sure you reach out. I'm a nice person, not just on, social media, superstar, bitch. And then, I'm a nice human as well. I have feelings as well, because on the social medias, like someone told me, I said, you look such a bitch on the social medias. I was like, I'm not, I'm just posing, I'm a model.
There you go. I love
you
that. Thank you
know
so much.
so but yeah, thank you so much for giving the opportunity to talk to you, and it was lovely to meet you as well.
You're welcome.
Right.
Thanks for joining us on Between the Poles. If you love this episode, be sure to hit follow and leave us a review. It helps more pole lovers find the show. And for exclusive bonus content, behind-the-scene footage, and extra pole goodness, follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and keep spinning your story. This was Between the Poles.